Have you ever heard someone saying, "Don't talk to me like this, are you out of your mind?" Or, "How can he dare to behave like this, now see what will I do?" Or, "I will not leave you without taking revenge for what you have done to me." Yeah. Definitely either we have used these types of statements or have heard others saying it. Anger is an emotional state that varies in intensity from mild irritation to intense fury and rage. Like other emotions, it is accompanied by physiological and biological changes. When you get angry, your heart rate and blood pressure go up, as do the levels of your energy hormones, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Anger can be caused by both external and internal events. You could be angry at a specific person, such as a coworker or supervisor, or event, a traffic jam, a cancelled flight, or your anger could be caused by worrying or brooding about your personal problems. Memories of traumatic or enraging events can also trigger angry feelings. We all get angry from time to time, it's part of being human. But, it can sometimes seem like our anger controls us instead of us controlling it. This doesn't have to be the case though. With just a few steps you can start training yourself to control your anger before it controls you. It may take a little bit of practice, but you will quickly see an improvement if you follow these steps. The first thing you need to do in order to get a handle on your anger is to acknowledge it. Learn to recognize the anger building and realize when you are angry. This will separate you from your anger just a little bit and allow you to get it under control. With time and practice, you may even begin to recognize it building and put an end to it before you ever get angry. Recognize the physical signs: an increased heart rate, clenched fists, shaking, and holding your breath. When you become aware of your anger, you're ready to move on to the next step. In the moment, ask yourself, is this a problem you can fix? Some things that we get angry about are completely beyond our control, like getting stuck in traffic. Will getting angry about it solve anything? The answer is of course no. If your anger is caused because your child is misbehaving in the grocery store, that is something you can fix. Is your child doing it because they're bored? Hungry? Fix the cause of the misbehavior and stop the anger in its tracks, taking the example of the child misbehaving. Sometimes, that is beyond your control. Sometimes you're stuck with no toys, no food, and you just have to keep going. When it's a problem you can't fix, or even when it is one you can fix, take 10 deep breaths to calm down. Your heart rate will slow, giving you the opportunity to unwind. If that doesn't work, do 10 more, this time counting down from 10. If you tend to come home from work stressed and take out your anger on your family, or you know that workplace meetings cause you a lot of frustration, create a calm down kit that you can use to relax. Think about objects that help engage all your senses. When you can look, hear, see, smell, and touch calming things, you can change your emotional state. So a calm down kit might include scented hand lotion, a picture of a serene landscape, a spiritual passage you can read aloud, and a few pieces of your favorite candy. Include things that you know will help you remain calm. You also might create a virtual calm down kit that you can take everywhere. These are things that you can call upon when needed and are more portable. For instance, calming music and images, guided meditation, or instructions for breathing exercises could be stored in a special folder on your smartphone. Simply put, this means changing the way you think. Angry people tend to curse, swear, or speak in highly colorful terms that reflect their inner thoughts. When you're angry, your thinking can get very exaggerated and overly dramatic. Try replacing these thoughts with more rational ones. For instance, instead of telling yourself, "Oh, it's awful, it's terrible, everything's ruined," tell yourself, "It's frustrating, and it's understandable that I'm upset about it, but it's not the end of the world and getting angry is not going to fix it anyhow." Be careful of words like never or always when talking about yourself or someone else. Remind yourself that getting angry is not going to fix anything. That it won't make you feel better, and may actually make you feel worse. Logic defeats anger, because anger, even when it's justified, can quickly become irrational. So use cold hard logic on yourself. Remind yourself that the world is not out to get you, you're just experiencing some of the rough spots of daily life. Do this each time you feel anger getting the best of you, and it'll help you get a more balanced perspective. Angry people tend to demand things: fairness, appreciation, agreement, willingness to do things their way. Everyone wants these things, and we are all hurt and disappointed when we don't get them, but angry people demand them, and when their demands aren't met, their disappointment becomes anger. Sometimes, our anger and frustration are caused by very real and inescapable problems in our lives. Not all anger is misplaced, and often it's a healthy, natural response to these difficulties. There is also a cultural belief that every problem has a solution, and it adds to our frustration to find out that this isn't always the case. The best attitude to bring to such a situation, then, is not to focus on finding the solution, but rather on how you handle and face the problem, make a plan, and check your progress along the way. Resolve to give it your best, but also not to punish yourself if an answer doesn't come right away. If you can approach it with your best intentions and efforts and make a serious attempt to face it head-on, you will be less likely to lose patience and fall into all-or-nothing thinking. Even if the problem does not get solved right away, angry people tend to jump to, and act on, conclusions, and some of those conclusions can be very inaccurate. The first thing to do if you're in a heated discussion is slow down and think through your responses. Don't say the first thing that comes into your head, but slow down and think carefully about what you want to say. At the same time, listen carefully to what the other person is saying and take your time before answering. Sometimes it's our immediate surroundings that give us cause for irritation and fury. Problems and responsibilities can weigh on you and make you feel angry at the trap you seem to have fallen into and all the people and things that form that trap. Give yourself a break. Make sure you have some personal time scheduled for times of the day that you know are particularly stressful. One example is the working mother who has a standing rule that when she comes home from work, for the first 15 minutes nobody talks to mom unless the house is on fire. After this brief quiet time, she feels better prepared to handle demands from her kids without blowing up at them. If you feel that your anger is really out of control, if it is having an impact on your relationships and on important parts of your life, you might consider counseling to learn how to handle it better. A psychologist or other licensed mental health professional can work with you in developing a range of techniques for changing your thinking and your behavior. When you talk to a prospective therapist, tell them that you have problems with anger that you want to work on, and ask about their approach to anger management. Make sure this isn't only a course of action designed to put you in touch with your feelings and express them. That may be precisely what your problem is. With counseling, psychologists say, a highly angry person can move closer to a middle range of anger in about 8 to 10 weeks. Depending on the circumstances and the techniques used. Remember, you can't eliminate anger, and it wouldn't be a good idea if you could. In spite of all your efforts, things will happen that will cause you anger, and sometimes it will be justifiable anger. Life will be filled with frustration, pain, loss, and the unpredictable actions of others. You can't change that, but you can change the way you let such events affect you. Controlling your angry responses can keep them from making you even more unhappy in the long run. Thank you.